Hello, Grandma is here, back from the dentist, back from getting my car washed. I have been so busy. Those days happen, and I'm glad I can still do them. James and I was saying this morning, we're so thankful for our health and that we can get things done. And I forgot to put on earrings. Let's see if I can find some here. Aha! I love pearls, and I wear pearls. And so, children, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice together in it. Thank you, Lord, for this day. So anyway, I just got a message that my granddaughter, the one, Melissa, the 18-wheeler driver, somebody hit her. And she's bruised up. She's in the hospital. She's all right. So I am so thankful for that. And so I went to the dentist, and he was so good. And you know, I got to turn this off. Hang on a minute. And I can turn this off. I don't want this phone ringing while I'm talking to you. So we're going to shut her down. If I can remember how to do that. Oh, yeah, you go to General, and then you go up, and then you can shut it down. Or you can say, turn phone off.
Just to confirm.
Power off. And they did it because I don't want the phone interrupting me while I'm talking to my favorite people. But I warmed up my coffee because I just left my coffee. I didn't want to have to be in the dentist and all you do is run to the restroom. I didn't want to do that. Those girls, that his helpers, were nice. And this tooth that I have that broke off, it had a crown on it. It's right here. And there's a lot of bones still left there. And the dentist said, and he's 60 years old, and he's been around a long time, and he said, my experience with senior citizens is that it's the best thing just to leave that bone there. You're chewing good, you're doing good, you have 2 cavities over here. I won't even have to numb you up. We can fill them, and we're done. So that's what we did. And it didn't take them too long. About an hour, they were done. You know what happens when I go to the doctor's office or the dentist? My blood pressure just goes real high. So she took my blood pressure, and it was up. And so she says, now I'm going to take it again later. So later on, they took it again. It was still up. I said, I know I don't have high blood pressure. I have that at home. I check my blood pressure. But when I get in a doctor's office or something, and I bet that happens to some of you all too, don't it? So anyway, I think now it's back to normal. But you know what? She had a blood pressure thing that she just put on my wrist. And I said, well, where'd you get that? She said, well, you can get it at Amazon, about $20. Well, mine, you have to put it on the cuff, and then you have to pump it up. And no, it's got an electric thing in it. It comes up. You don't have to pump it. And I said, well, I want one of them. So I'm going to order me one, and you can get one for like $20, $16. She said, just get the cheapest one and be done with it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get me one of them and keep checking mine and James's blood pressure. You don't want to let your blood pressure get high because you can have a stroke. It's very bad. And I've got my McDonald's coffee, and oh, I want to thank this. I tell you what, I got a letter, and I love letters, and I don't get a lot. Y'all need to write me some letters. Of course, I probably wouldn't answer them, and that's a fact check. But this is from, I can't pronounce his name, her name or his, but it was a lovely letter. And you know what it had in it? A $20 gift from McDonald's coffee. Thank you. He said, on me, enjoy. And then he wrote and said how he enjoys, I think it's a guy. Let me see. I'm going to read this again. Christopher Lee, Vicchullo. And he lives up in Westerville, Ohio. Now, I don't get enough letters, but when I get one like this, I want to thank you. You're a sweet fellow. So thank you so much, and we're enjoying that coffee. Well, we like McDonald's coffee, and that's so kind of you. Thank you so much. And I'm not begging the rest of y'all. It was just something he wanted to do. And you know what the Bible says, or it don't say it, but in this, what I get. No, I think this preacher told me that. Wait a minute. I got to get this straight. When you get a gift or something, you don't say, no, thank you, I don't want that. Or no, that's all right, you just keep it. Whatever it is, you say, thank you. And be thankful. Even if you, I tell you what, we was down in Virginia or West Virginia. And down there, they farm and they can everything. And so this husband, we had our fifth wheel, a trailer, so we could cook and do our own cooking. And we did, and people did cook for us and bring it in. But this couple bought us in 6-quart jars of yellow squash, canned. I like yellow squash, but I like it fried. But this is canned, and it's kind of mushy. Now, what in the world do you do with it? I don't know. I really don't know, because we opened it up, and I warmed it up, and I took a taste of it, and I don't think there was any saving it. And I told the pastor and his wife about it. I said, I thanked him. I said, thank you so much, because I appreciate a gift. And don't you know, he said, I tell you what you do. I asked, what do you tell them later? I said. He said, well, I tell you what. You say, as you pitch it into your trash can, name your trash can the Spot. This is my trash can Spot. You name your dog Spot. You can name your cat Spot or Spotty, but Spot. This is Spot, my trash can. And you tell them, as you throw it in the trash can, bang, it hit the Spot. And you're not lying. I thought that was a little sneaky. So anyway, that's what I did with it, but I don't think I ever told them anything except thank you. But you can say it hit the spot. But we went to visit James' sister and her husband, and they are getting frail, and they needed to move closer to their children because where they were living for 50, 60 years was far away from them. So they found this big house in a subdivision in Mount Washington, Kentucky. I should have took some pictures, but I didn't. And it's a lovely older home, and it's enormous. But it's got a lot of steps, and I'm 90. And Janet was in the basement, and she said, come on down here. I want to show you this stuff. Honey, and Janet, if you see this, you're worse than your brother James, or as bad. She had this basement room full of boxes of stuff she collected over the years, and she just couldn't part with her stuff. She had to get a house big enough for her stuff, I reckon. When we moved from Old Hill Road, well, I don't have that much stuff. I have stuff, but not as much stuff as they do. But then she took me upstairs and showed me that lovely vintage bedroom, and that was gorgeous. That was really pretty. And she gave me a vintage little jewelry box that is so pretty, which I don't need, but it's so pretty. I did say thank you, and I took it home, and I'm going to put some of my earrings in it. It's lovely, and it is old as the hills. You can tell it's an antique, and she's got a lot of antiques. And that antique bedroom that I took pictures of and showed, she fixed it up so pretty. But she's short as I am, and she's not real well. And when they moved her, they fixed her bed that she can't hardly get in it. It's so high. And I said, Janet, you need a stepladder or a step stool or something. She said, I know, I have to just get up and kind of jump to get into it. Of course, that's exercise, I guess. But one time we went to a bluegrass festival up in Ohio, and we stayed at a hotel. And that hotel had those beds real high like that. And I couldn't get in it. Now, honestly, it was higher enough that I could not get in it. And there wasn't anything I could step on to get into it. So we called downstairs, and I said, I can't get into this bed. Have you got something like a step stool or something that I can get into this bed? Because otherwise I don't know where I'm going to sleep. So they said, okay, we'll take care of that. We'll be right up. And they came up in a little while, and they had one of these little ladders that have two-step ladders, 2 steps on it. And that's how I got into that bed. So I told Janet, I said, Janet, you need to get you a little step ladder to get into that bed. And she says, well, I think I have one somewhere or something. So she's been having an awful time with that. She has to slide in and out, you know, up, jump, and then she slides out of it. And she's younger than James. She's about 80 now, and James is 83. And she's just getting frail. But they had to move. They had been at that same house for, James said, many, many years, more than 50. And they hated to leave it. But their health was getting bad, and their children insisted, Mom and Dad, you got to move closer to us where we could be helping you and helping take care of you. And so that's what they did. And so their grandson lives, they can see his house from their, they got a nice big deck from their big deck. And that big basement they got in that house. So she wanted me to come on down them stairs. Well, I'm 91. We moved away from stairs up on Old Hill Road where we used to live. It had an upstairs and a downstairs. And when I got, well, a little older, we moved downstairs because those stairs was just hard for me to get up and down all the time. So we moved downstairs. We had a bedroom down there. So we just moved down that bedroom. And then when he started looking for us a house in town, and I'm so glad we moved. I like it so much better. He was looking for a 1-story, all on one floor. And so he bought a 3-bedroom brick. Well, it's stone. It's got a lot of that St. Martin's stone, and it's brown, but it's not all stone, but it's a lovely home on a big piece of ground. Big Tom goes out there at this house now. You know, we don't let the kittens out. And James said to me, you know how I change subjects. Now, Big Tom goes out, but he don't get off the property. He stays right there, and he goes out. When I get up in the morning, he goes out, and about 30 minutes later, he's ready to come back in. So he comes back in, and he don't get off the lot. And if a big truck or a loud car or a motorcycle goes by, he gets to the back door and what's in right now. He got hit by a car a couple of 3 years ago, and that's how I ended up with him, because he got run over. His jaw was broke. His leg, his hip was broke, and he drug himself because he was a feral cat. And I've told this before, he drug himself to my back steps where I live. And so I found him out there, and his mouth was all lopsided. He still looks kind of funny. And he was in bad shape, and I thought, this cat is killed. I picked him up, brought him in the house, and laid him on my back little breezeway. And I called my friend, and she bought a vet, and they came and got him because he was a feral cat. And they took him home, and the vet took him to her home because she was a vet for the city, and I didn't have to pay her. He was a feral cat. So you know what? She nursed him for about 2 weeks. First, she fed him with an eyedropper because he couldn't chew or do anything like that. So she fed him liquid food for a week or so. And then, do you know, his jaw healed. And then he could chew, you know, wet food. And so she started giving him wet food. He started eating that. And when he started doing that, she brought him back home and gave him back to me. But I ended up giving him to a friend that was dying with ovarian cancer. And he stayed with her and kept her company till she passed away. And then her husband couldn't keep him anymore because he had to move. And where he moved to, no cats. So he brings him back here, and I've had him ever since. But that is the smartest cat I have ever met. And I'm a cat person, and I know a lot of cats. In my time, I've known a lot of them. And he is one of the most intelligent ones. But he knew to come to me. It's like the Lord just led him. And that was his salvation. And now he's just doing great. Goes outside. I buy him wet food. He eats dry food. He can chew. He can chew the dry food, and sometimes he prefers that. He's particular about his flavors. I know y'all want to know about my cat. If I open one he don't like, he sniffs it and walks off, which means I don't want that. Well, guess what? I say, sad dad. And the other kittens, you know we have 3 other cats, they'll eat it, and they eat it. And so he eats his dry cat food till I open him one he likes. And then he eats it good. Spoiled, I reckon. You could. James said this morning after we visited Charlie and his sister Janet, and it was so sad over there in a way because they don't have no animal. He said what they need is 2 kittens, because when you get 2 little kittens, they play together, they keep you entertained, and you know that wouldn't be a bad suggestion for people that are lonely and you don't have to go out and walk them. You do have to have kitty litter, but there is really good kitty litter out there now that lasts a long time. And just, it's not that hard to take care of cats, really, in this day and age. Now, back when I was a girl, we couldn't let cats in the house because there was no such thing as kitty litter, because you would have a messy house. And if a cat pees in your house, that odor is there, kiddo, unless you mop it up right away. So anyway, don't get a cat if you can't afford kitty litter, is what I say, and vet bills, because sometimes they get sick, and you cannot go to a vet and get out for under $90. That's the truth. And you cannot go to the dentist and get away hardly for under $1,000. That's what it cost me this morning, $1,036. And I thank God I had saved the money to do that. But I'm old. I mean, he said, there's no use doing that thing where that steel bone there and it still chews. He said, just leave it alone. It'll last you. I'm 91. So thank you, Jesus. He said, I could take it out of there for you, but it would be upsetting for your body and for you. And he said, you don't need it taken out. And that's what I had been thinking, that I should just leave it because I've been eating good with it. And look, my smile is still here, and you can't tell it. That was a little phony. But I like to smile and not look snaggle-toothed, you know. And so when I smile, I don't look snaggle-toothed. So I thank the Lord for that. And now my time is up, and I'm done. And so I didn't talk about a whole lot of anything, but that's how I am. And you know, a lot of people are, and I mean a lot, because it's going down. My numbers are going down all the time, and that's all right. I love you anyway. If I've got a dozen people left, I'll talk to y'all. That's what I was, you know, that girl I'm trying to help, senioritis, nobody can hardly find her, and she's going to have to fix it herself. I can't fix it, but I did send her another note text this morning on one of her, number 4, that maybe she's going to have to go into her YouTube analytics and stuff, and they have a place where you can chat with headquarters, and maybe they will tell her what to do, but she's got a name that's got more than one doing that, so she's going to have to work that out. So y'all walk that walk now where Jesus would be pleased with you. Bye-bye.